Namaste. I'm making a new series to enhance the understanding about the Kundalini awakening process. This is the first part, and in today's video, I'll talk about how the personality of a person affects the Kundalini awakening process, what type of people have an awakening, and what type of people cannot have an awakening, and how do you know whether you are capable of holding this energy within your body. The Kundalini awakening in a person can happen consciously or unconsciously. When somebody is voluntarily doing yoga, mantra japa, they are using certain practices to awaken the sleeping power in their body. They will start experiencing lot of symptoms that are associated with this kind of an activity. For example, pranic movements, chakra spinning. They will start seeing lights, kriyas. So this person is consciously aware that this activity is happening in his body. But there are another category of people who, due to certain practices that they did in their last lifetime or previous many lifetimes, or due to soul maturation, they have sort of qualified for this process to unfold in their body. For these type of people, the process is happening at an unconscious level. That is, they are not aware that this process is happening in their body, and all those kriyas, the changes in breathing pattern, the different pranic movements that happen in the body, all these things happen for these type of people when they are in deep sleep state. That is, they are not consciously aware that they are undergoing this process, because the kriyas and other symptoms in general which are associated with these type of processes are happening when they are in a deep sleep state. It is only when the process it moves to a very mature level where the chakras are now started spinning. It is only at that point that these people realize that there's something happening in their body. They will have other symptoms which are associated with the Kundalini awakening process. That is the mental kriyas where they are going through these dark periods in their life. They will be having certain digestive issues, and there are many other issues which are connected with the Kundalini awakening process, the physical, mental symptoms. They will be undergoing those symptoms, but they are unaware that they are undergoing these symptoms because of a Kundalini awakening unfolding in their body. Even the revelation that they are undergoing this process can happen quite magically. The first thing that they might notice is that there are certain points in their body where the chakras are spinning, or they can have certain visions where they're seeing various deities, or they can even notice that there's certain movements happening in their body, that is pranic movements. During this phase, the Kundalini goddess reveals to them that they're having a Kundalini awakening. And this can happen quite magically. That is, maybe they walk into a shop where they see the picture of chakras there on the wall, or somebody might send them a book on a Kundalini awakening process. So even their uh, introduction to this topic can happen quite out of the blue. Or maybe they might listen to two people discussing this matter, and that is when the truth dawns upon them that they're undergoing a Kundalini awakening process, and all the symptoms which they were experiencing, they are all a part and parcel of this awakening process unfolding in the body. So how is it that few people qualify for this awakening naturally, and for few they are drawn towards these practices to awaken their process? Nothing is accidental here. It is all a part of how the spirit works. When your soul is ready for maturation, then the spiritual awakening it starts in your body. So there are many ways in how somebody can attract a descent of grace, or they could attract certain spiritual awakening processes, or they could attract the Kundalini process into their life. We have heard many very famous legends on two people falling in love and how only the love mattered to them and nothing else in this world. So, when somebody falls deeply in love and for some reason they are not successful in that relationship, the longing for the beloved can trigger a Kundalini or a spiritual awakening in the person. Because this person has learned to transcend the lower three chakras and is longing for his or her beloved is coming from a higher chakra level, that is heart and above. The moment a person is able to transcend the ego, the limited ego which is there at the lower three chakra levels, and he is able to connect with another individual or connect with the divine at a higher level, where the ego is not driven by the lower selfish needs. This person has already learned the art of transmuting the lower ego into something more beautiful at the higher level. So he's taken the lower selfish ego and he has transformed everything about it into pure love. Love for his beloved or love for the divine. This is how a spiritual awakening can unfold in a person's body. This person's love for his beloved is not based upon the social constructs. It is not based upon beliefs. It is not based upon some monetary gain, or it is not based upon winning some kind of popularity or success or contacts or looking good. It is not about all these things. This love that a person experiences for another at a heart level, which is very deep, it is at a soul level. So it has transcended all these things. And when a person is able to stay in that state of love for over a long period of time, he has automatically learned the art of transmuting the lower level of consciousness in his body into something higher. The prolonged love for the beloved, over a period of time, it will change the inner alchemy of the person. Only a sensitive person can love at this level. Generally, people who are very sensitive are spiritually evolved. People, on the whole, they experience various emotions: anger, jealousy, lust, greed, anger. So many different variety of emotions are experienced and expressed by people. But there are many shades to these emotions. A normal person may not experience all the shades of anger or all the shades of love. It takes a very sensitive, evolved soul to be able to experience the various shades, the entire range in a particular emotion. So, when somebody who is very sensitive is grieving, they experience the state of grief for a very prolonged period and they experience the various shades of it very uh, deeply, and this is so deeply experienced that the inner alchemy of a person changes. So any emotion which we dwell upon for a very prolonged period and which is beyond the capacity of a normal human being, and while you're dwelling upon this emotion, at some level, you're transforming this emotion into something higher within you. When you're doing this, you are capable of experiencing a Kundalini awakening process or a spiritual awakening process. The personality of a person, it develops over many lifetimes. I made a video series on how the person, he takes on a particular personality, he evolves in the direction, and how the personality shapes his spiritual evolution, how the ego plays him, and what are the spiritual practices this person needs to do to uh, transcend the lower ego. Please check the playlist for the video series on Enneagram and personality type. So, how does the personality help a person to transcend the lower ego? Say, for example, you're building a house where you have the ground level of the house and then you have the first floor of the house. Say the ground level is your lower ego and the first floor is the higher aspect within you. If you have to move from the ground level to the first floor, you need steps. Without the steps, you cannot reach the first floor. So these steps are your well-developed personality. And this personality develops over many lifetimes. So to even understand how human emotions work, how we can transcend these emotions from a lower state to a higher state, it requires a person who has the experience of many lifetimes, who has built a personality for himself. And now this personality is there. It will aid you in moving from your lower ego to your higher aspect within yourself. Because there is this bridge of personality, you are able to transcend the lower emotions, lower ego into something higher. For example, you can transform pain into lessons. You transform your anger into acceptance. You transform your hatred into love. So everything that is coming from the lower level of consciousness is taken and the same thing is transmuted into something more beautiful and it is released into the world. This person, when he works like this, he has understood how to master his emotional and mental body. But this capacity to transmute does not come easily. It is a power. And this power, it gets generated within us when we have a personality. And secondly, when there is an inner alchemy happening. That alchemy happens at such deep level, at such severe level that we are forced now to look within and transcend everything which is at a lower egoic state within us and move into a higher state. So, this kind of a forced situation comes into your life due to certain external events, or maybe because of your inner mental makeup, or how you react to the external world, or how you attract certain situations and people into your life. This situation will come into your life. And when you are in this situation for a very prolonged period, or maybe in phases which are very prolonged, you will experience a particular emotion very deeply for a very long period of time. And this will help you to alter the inner alchemy of your body, because of which a spiritual awakening process unfolds in that person's body. This emotion, which will help you to transcend the lower ego and move into a higher state, it can come in any form. It can be in the form of love. It could be your beloved, your twin flame, or it could be love for the divine. You have heard many people who are so engrossed in bhakti or devotion towards a higher power that nothing else matters to them. They've transcended all those lower needs. They can go without food or without water for many days because their love for God is very strong. These people are using love as a mechanism to move into a higher level. Some, they use trauma. For those who are tied up in situations, families, relationships where they've received a lot of trauma in this life, the trauma over a prolonged period of time can trigger a Kundalini awakening process. Depression for various reasons. Maybe that person has enjoyed life so much that at some point he might fall into depression because there's nothing of higher value in his life. Many addicts, sex addicts, drug addicts, people who have other types of addictions, at some point in life they might outgrow their addictions, and because of that they go into a deep state of depression. So this deep state of depression over many years can lead to a spiritual awakening. devotion for God, singing, uh, chanting mantras. For some, the event is divinely timed. They might attract the descent of grace, they might attract the right guru, they might attract a type of a Shakti path into their life. It can happen through a personal guru, or it can happen through certain uh, alien visitations. So there is a divine timing associated, whether it is happening because of other factors or because of the divine grace. I always saw that there is a divine timing associated with this process triggering in your body. Some people are into intense sadhana, where they're into yogic practices, deep meditations, mantras. They make their life totally spiritual, and they're only spending day and night in that environment. That can also trigger a Kundalini or a spiritual awakening. Sometimes the presence of the right guru or somebody who has an awakened Kundalini, when you are with them, when you see them, when you listen to their voice, that can also trigger a Kundalini awakening, provided that you are ready to receive it. Somebody can have a spiritual awakening even when they are into too much of selfless service or generosity. Apart from that, certain substances, basically, which are plant based, marijuana, ganja, certain types of mushrooms, they can also activate the pineal gland within your body. Once the pineal gland in your body gets activated, you automatically attract the energy that is there in the universe. Generally, such people over a period of time, they attract the top down descent of grace onto their body. The weed can give the person otherworldly experiences. It can open up the person's limited thinking, the limited experience into something bigger, which is beyond a normal person's reach. These substances can affect the subtle body system in a person. So, when they are taken for a very prolonged period of time, the person's body, that is a subtle body, is not capable of holding the Kundalini energy or any type of a spiritual process. This can affect the person, and the person will miss out on a good opportunity of evolving because the subtle body system is not able to transform this person. It is always better to discontinue such intake of substances. In certain cases, the soul has many lifetimes of experiences. So it has evolved a very beautiful personality, and at the highest expression of the personality, it is generally sattvic in nature. That is, they have become these beings who are of light, of love, and they only mean good to everybody. There is an element of innocence and wisdom within them. When a person reaches this kind of a perfection, automatically a spiritual awakening can unfold in that person's body. Some individuals have this burning desire for truth. This burning desire for truth and the emotional turmoil that they experience during their journey for inner truth, that can also trigger a Kundalini or a spiritual awakening. And some prefer to live from truth. That is, they have polished their personality to such an extent that they live from a moral code of conduct. That is, they have certain values, certain ethics, and they will not compromise on those values and ethics. At every level, they're trying to live life from an inner honesty. When they do this, they are unknowingly following the yamas and niyamas which are there in the yogic tests. That is, things a person should do and things which a person should abstain from doing to live life correctly. So these people, they are using most of their mental faculties, that is their discretion, their discrimination. They choose truth over personal gain. They do not tell lies to please people. For them, being honest is the most important thing. When a person reaches that level of soul refinement, then the chances of attracting a descent of grace or a Kundalini awakening process is high. No matter through what method a person has an awakening, one thing everybody has to understand is that we should not force the process. Even the initiation of the process should not be forced. The reason being that we should be ready for this process at a mental level, at a physical level, at an emotional level, at a soul level. For those who have a well developed personality, who are very sensitive with open system, they have a nervous system which has matured over many lifetimes. So these people can handle that energy. The inner alchemy that unfolds, the hormonal changes, that changes in neurotransmitters, everything that comes with the process unfolding in the body, these people are capable of handling this type of an energy working in the system. So the maturation of nervous system takes many lifetimes. And once the maturation is complete, the person has qualified for a Kundalini awakening or a spiritual awakening. And this awakening can come into the person's life through any medium. Going by this premise, majority of population on earth do not qualify for a spiritual or a Kundalini awakening. A very small percentage of the population, maybe 1% or less than that, they alone qualify for various types of spiritual awakenings or for a Kundalini awakening process. That is why many Guru Paramparas or the lineage where there is a Guru and the Guru transfers the knowledge about a Kundalini awakening process to the disciple, many of these lineages, they do not accept everybody as their disciple. They might accept people as disciple to give them certain types of mantras or to guide them or help them. But the entire knowledge about the Kundalini yoga is only given to one or two people amongst all those disciples there. The Guru here looks for somebody who has a well developed personality. If the person does not have a well developed personality and if the person has not transcended the lower ego, then the Guru will not pass on the secret Kundalini knowledge to the disciple. That is why not everybody is qualified to receive this knowledge. There should be an element of transformation of the lower conscious into something higher. That alone qualifies this person to receive knowledge from the Guru, the divine, or from the universe. Majority of the population, they live from the fight and flight mode that operates in the lower brain. Though we have a human form, within this human form is the capacity to have animalistic emotions. The Muladhara chakra, which is the lowest chakra in a human body, is the highest chakra in an animal. That is when the animal, it activates its Muladhara chakra, which is its highest chakra. Next lifetime, it is born as a human. So now this human has the body, the appearance, but Kundalini is still sleeping in the Muladhara. That is why this person, though he looks like a human externally, internally, this person has the animalistic tendencies. He has not outgrown them or come out of them. So, in a spiritual awakening or Kundalini transformation, we are transforming all those lower animalistic tendencies. For example, an animal has jealousy, it has anger, it is territorial. So, a man also is capable of all these emotions. As long as he is capable of all these emotions, he is having these animalistic tendencies consciously or unconsciously working within him. So, in a Kundalini awakening process, when you are transcending the lower chakras, In a way, you are transforming the lower consciousness into something higher within you, something divine within you. That is why the majority of people on earth, at least in this present age, are driven by their unconscious or conscious animalistic tendencies. They're territorial, they fight wars, they fight for food, they fight for a mate, then they have certain motives, they want to take away from others, they want to trouble others. Most of them are living from fear of losing power, fear of losing control, survival fears. There are many types of fears, or they're seeking pleasure. All those activities which a normal human being does is to avoid pain or it is to gain something, which is typically animalistic in nature. As long as a person is trapped in the lower ego, he is working from the fight and flight mechanism working in his body. So he will be incapable of transmuting any lower emotion into something higher. For example, if somebody gets angry, that anger stays within that person till it turns into something called hatred, or it can turn into revenge. So here the anger is not being healthily transmuted into acceptance. So these people who have these personality disorders like narcissism, psychopathy, sociopathy, they don't know how to transmute their lower emotions into something better. They're stuck in the ground floor because they don't have the means to reach the higher level within them. That is the personality which is required to move from the ground floor into the first floor. The steps are not there and they're not even aware of it. They take many lifetimes. When they are moving through many lifetimes, they take on a personality, and generally they operate from the lower aspect of the personality for a long period of time until they ripen in the soul evolution process. They reach a stage where they start expressing the higher aspects of that personality. Now the majority population on earth are actually expressing the lower aspects of their personality, or maybe they do not have a personality, that is, they have personality disorders. So this is how the majority population is right now operating on earth. And that is why you have a lot of wars, crimes, poverty, and other negative things that happen on earth today. These type of people who are operating from their lower ego, who do not have a well developed personality, they cannot experience the descent of grace and they cannot experience a Kundalini awakening process. Because the maturation, the nervous system maturation, has not happened in their body. Their body cannot handle a Kundalini energy. For example, you take a 30 volts bulb and you put in 1000-volt current through it, the bulb will burst. The bulb cannot handle the energy. It is only a sensitive, open person who has a well developed nervous system. Only this type of person can handle the cosmic energy, that is the descent of grace, or the Kundalini awakening energy. His body is like a 1000-volt bulb, which can handle the 1000-volt power coming from a spiritual awakening process. So, people who are working from a very lower animalistic nature, that is, they're very greedy, they're very cruel, they want to exploit, they have too much of anger issues, insecurity issues, fear issues, they're jealous, they're lustful, they have addictions, they traumatize others. These type of people cannot have a Kundalini or a spiritual awakening. There are some people who understand these practices very well and they try to even wake up Kundalini from its sleep through certain yogic practices. When these people who are not qualified try to meddle with Kundalini, they get punished. Their body cannot handle this energy. So, how do you know whether you are ready for this type of Kundalini or spiritual awakening? Are you the type of person who experiences emotions very deeply and who ponders over those emotions over many years? You have learned to transmute your emotions to a certain extent. You are a sensitive person with an open system. Do you feel connected to nature, to things, to people around you? Do you seek honesty in your relationships, in your life? Do you prefer to live with nature's rhythms? Are your goals in life extended beyond just material success? That is, are you seeking more than just material success in your life? Do you display in certain situations a level of selflessness? Are you capable of empathy? Are you capable of love? Are you capable of generosity, of wisdom, of forgiveness? Are you a well wisher? Do you only mean good for others around you? Do you have creative abilities? Do you understand life at a very deeper level? Are you an old soul who's tired of playing this game of life? Do you believe in improving yourself a little each day? Are you a seeker of the eternal truth? Are you into certain practices, certain austerities, certain sadhanas, yogic practices? Or are you attracted to these type of activities? Do you have a spiritual practice right now in your life? Do you have this deep longing to merge with something higher, something beyond your body? Are you capable of forming loving bonds with animals, with certain people who are reasonable in your life? Do you have otherworldly experiences? Maybe you've had altered states of consciousness. Maybe you have experienced alien visitations or synchronicities, something magical in your life. Do you display more of these sattvic qualities? That is, are you content? Do you express joy? Do you have this level of inner understanding, knowledge, peace, acceptance? Do you at least experience these things in certain situations in your life? Are you attracted to age old wisdom, the books on mystical topics or saints or certain spiritual practices? Are you seeking a deeper meaning from life? If all the answers for these questions, or at least majority of the answers for these questions is yes, then you are capable of containing the spiritual unfoldment in your body. That is, your body has reached a certain level of maturation to hold the divine energy or the Kundalini energy. When you look at the lives of great saints, you will see that they had an awakening at a very early age, like Meher Baba, Ramana Maharshi, Mata Amritanandamayi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. They've achieved an enlightenment in their teens or maybe in their 20s. Such people become gurus for everybody around them. They become saints, yogis, the enlightened master. But generally, many who undergo this process unconsciously, they live a pretty normal life before they experience this awakening. This process can strike an unaware person. That is when they start seeking knowledge about this process. They try to enhance their awareness about this process. Now, this process must have got initiated in this person's body in this last lifetime itself. This person's personality is good enough to attract this type of energy. They can handle it comfortably. Only thing they need is the initiation. It can come from a guru who will come into your life and give you the initiation, or maybe from the universe, or you can even get this initiation when you are in a dream state. Until then, the person lives a very normal life. They have their flaws, but then there is a inner sense of wisdom also in this person. Suddenly, with this initiation, everything changes, and their journey towards their inner divinity starts. This can happen when they are in their mid 30s or mid 40s. This person, during the early part of his life, he was an unawakened person. He was just living from his inner fight and flight mode. He did many mistakes. He was not even able to remember his past lives. So that is why he was unaware that he was into some type of practice, or he had a guru, or he led a very deeply spiritual life in his past lifetime. He forgets his past lifetime and he is again living from the lower chakras in this lifetime. This period in his life where he is living from the lower chakra, so he is clearing away the last bits of karma that is still there in his system. He learns some lessons, major lessons in that period where he lived from ignorance or he lived from the lower chakras. And once he has learned how to transcend the lower ego, or during that phase where he understands, that is, he goes beyond the lower ego in certain external events that come into his life, he forgives the unforgivable people. He lets go people who have troubled him. He lets go of karmic people in his life. He's learned a level of lessons in his life and he's learned to transcend, and he's made a decision not to live from the lower egoic state. This is what again triggers the remembrance of the spiritual life that he has lived in his past lifetime, and all that starts coming onto him, and then he experiences a Kundalini awakening process. So, the connection from your lower ego to your higher self, that bridge is your personality. When this personality is well developed, the person has the ability to transmute a lot of lower level emotions and thoughts into something higher and express it into this world. Once he has learned to some extent this level of transmutation, he qualifies automatically for a spiritual or a Kundalini awakening process. His system is ready to take in this type of an energy. But for somebody who does not have a personality, or somebody in whom the personality is not well formed, they're still in the lower levels of the formation of a personality. They are not interested in a spiritual practice. They are not seeking spiritual transformation. They are mostly into material gains. So that such type of people do not experience the spiritual transformation, and they cannot handle it also because their nervous system is not mature enough to handle this type of an energy. It needs sensitive old souls who can handle this energy. Thank you.